To me, motivation is like a shower. Like, just why not use it every day? I think it's really easy to think about like what you're doing and the effort that you're putting in and thinking that you should be getting like more. But I think sometimes maybe the effort's not concentrated enough.
You know the things you need to be more consistent on, and you didn't do those things, and you've gotten this amount of results, but you haven't been putting all the work in that you need to put in. Can't get mad at what you get either.
Part of being a champion, you know, and part of trying to get better at something is the ability to shut things down, is the ability to turn things off. People can get through a lot and they can overtrain, and you can kind of adapt to some of that, but it's not a great way to really truly make progress.
You can see the training splits of what a lot of higher level people are doing, and sometimes you want to make progress, so you feel like you need to do that, but you got to be smart enough to be consistent and start where you are.
And I'm going to eat some pizza because that's going to make me feel good. You're trying to get these particular results, you're trying to lock these things down, but you're not actually doing the correct work. And it also takes time. Your diet being intact for a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 7 days, it's not enough. And that's what sucks about it. Yeah, we got some good shit to talk about for once. I think.
You think so?
I think so.
I hope so.
This is a historical episode.
Yeah.
This is the first time ever.
First time we had a good topic.
Heck yeah. I'm excited, guys.
First time in a long time.
This has been a long day already, dog. I spilled coffee on myself. Dude. It's like, can't
You did
win.
some sort of weird internal like Hulk smash thing where you didn't actually smash anything, but you he did make a noise, right?
You got so frustrated.
It was internal anger. I'll demo it real quick. I think so. The coffee spilled, and then I kind of went like it was like a. It was more like that because I didn't want to scream. I'm not a screamer. I'm not a yeller. I'm more of I keep it in.
Oh, dear.
So
Did you hear the way he said that?
yeah,
He said the coffee spilled. It's interesting
That's
choice.
awesome
choice of
terminology.
words.
got that. You got that.
Coffee spilled itself.
That motherfucking coffee, bullshit coffee, spilt itself.
Push blame onto others is the way I operate.
Yeah,
Coffee just wanted to end it
freaking
all.
lousy table.
Stupid, sturdy table.
Oh Lord.
Anyway, we have a couple clips to show you guys that I think I was just flipping through Instagram. I probably shouldn't be, but I'm a sucker just like anybody else. Gonna be scrolling too much. And I found every once in a while, I'll just find some things I find interesting, and I'm like, let's share that on a podcast. But I think there's a lot to talk about. We have a clip from Eric Thomas, and we have another clip after that we'll show you guys, and we're going to put some of this together for you.
You know, we're going to get into the seriousness of this episode. By the way, guys, if you guys mentioned in the last podcast, 3 of you guys will be getting our shirts sent out to you that are on powerproject.live. Andrew, you can pull that up real quick so they can see the shirt. But you did comment, I'd like the fleshlight or something like that. So the first 3 of you guys that commented that, we're sending you guys shirts. Just make sure you're in the Discord because I will message you.
Discord.
And then secondly,
Can I get a shirt? Oh, I have one.
Look at that.
yeah,
Look at that. Oh,
look at that.
that's so clean.
That is very clean.
There's the front.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's nice.
Just want to give you guys a heads up on that. You guys are getting those shirts.
You will not look this good, though, but, you know.
You'll look better. That's what you look
There you
like.
go.
guns. Damn.
Anyway. Ready for clip 1?
Yep.
Yes, I am.
Don't be upset by the results you didn't get with the work you didn't do. All right? Listen to me. Don't be upset by the results you didn't get from the work you did not do.
I listen to Eric Thomas almost every day.
Really?
I love listening to that stuff. I know some people think it's like corny to listen to motivation, or you hear people say motivation is fleeting. But I think you could have some like, to me, motivation is like a shower. Like, just why not use it every day? Like, use some dosages of it every day. And I find like when I listen to stuff like that, it gets me fired up. I don't really need someone to necessarily tell me to go out there and do it, but I do find it inspiring.
A few years ago, I remember you sent me this motivational speech, and Andrew, you've probably heard it too. Just Do It by Art something.
Yeah, Art Williams.
Art Williams. I listened to that speech every day for the next 2 weeks. Literally.
It's amazing, right?
It was so good.
I love that. And supposedly he came out with that speech like the year before Nike did their Just Do It campaign, but they don't know anything about it, supposedly.
That's wrong, dude.
But it's a little strange. But anyway, I found that to be interesting because I think we lie to ourselves, even just something so simple as the other day I was in the gym and I was like, I'm like, I don't know why this is always so sore. And I said it to Russell. And Russell's like, you run like 5 miles every day and you lift every day. He's like, you work out twice a day, every day. And so we were just like totally laughing about that. He's like, that's like me saying, I don't know why I'm fat. I got no idea why I gained all this weight. He's like, I kind of have an idea where it came from.
Did you say that to Russell?
Russell said that to me.
It.
Oh, okay. I love him. I love him. For some reason, I lost. I was like, "Damn, Mark, you a
no.
you got your roasting this one a little bit
Cut deep."
No, we were messing around, and
Yeah.
But I think it's really easy to think about like what you're doing and the effort that you're putting in, and thinking that you should be getting like more. I should be getting more out of this. But I think sometimes maybe the effort's not concentrated enough. Maybe you have to talk to someone who's in a better spot than you. Maybe you need to talk to somebody that's been there before, somebody that's done it before. Maybe you need to consult a coach. Do you currently think that you have all the answers? Do you think you already know everything? If you do and you're making progress, then I'd say continue onward. But can you read another book about it? Can you look it up on YouTube? Could you go to a seminar? You know, we hear these stories all the time, the people that are hungry and the people that want to really figure it out. You know, I moved to Westside Barbell years ago to pursue basically a powerlifting career, which is like, I don't even know. I don't even have any idea what that even means now, even still. But I wanted to be better. I didn't know about being the best. I had no idea if I was ever going to be the best or considered the best or anything like that. But I knew that if I didn't explore it, that I would never have any idea at all. I was like, I'm not going to ever know anything just by training with some of the people I was training with at that time. It just I wasn't going to really be able to turn into what I thought I could turn into. And so why not give yourself the best opportunity you can by getting around some like-minded people, getting around people that maybe have been there before, and they could say, hey, this is the way.
Dude, you know, the interesting thing about this quote is that it kind of goes two ways, because he says, don't get mad at the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. But if you also think about, don't get mad at the results you did get from the work you didn't do. Like if for example, you know, let's say that you're trying to gain a certain amount of muscle, or you're trying to gain muscle, and your diet isn't where it needs to be. You're not eating enough protein, you're not eating enough food. And after a few months, you're like, oh gosh, I've only gotten this much stronger, this much bigger. But you know the things you need to be more consistent on, and you didn't do those things, and you've gotten this amount of results, but you haven't been putting all the work in that you need to put in. You can't get mad at what you get either, because at the end of the day, you kind of do know what you should be doing, but maybe you're shortchanging certain things that you're like, getting a little extra sleep isn't that big of a deal. I'm gonna stay up and play some fucking Zelda tonight for a few nights in a row. You know what I mean?
The new Zelda's amazing.
It is.
Did you played it?
I've played a little bit of it.
Man.
I stopped playing a little bit. I stopped playing it. I'm playing a little bit more Diablo now. But yeah, the new Zelda is great.
Damn.
You don't even know what Diablo is, which is good.
Yeah, what? Yeah, I don't know. Even know what that is.
You don't want to know what it is.
Not a good fun game.
Okay. Sidetrack. For all my nerds in the audience, for all the nerds in the audience, the funny thing about the Diablo game, okay, is that like so many 30-plus-year-olds are into that game because Diablo came out when you were like a kid.
Yeah, when I remember, I think it was like 7th grade, and a buddy was like, oh, I got this devil worshiping game called Diablo. And I was like, whoa, I don't think I want to mess with that. But this was back when it was, I think, maybe only on PC.
Yeah.
And like he brought the box to school, and it was this big, you know, because PC games back in the day were fucking the size of like a poster.
The box was like exciting when you saw the box.
Yeah.
You were like, oh, this is going to be sick.
And it had like a phone book's worth of like information on the inside. Like anyway, but I remember, so they came out with an app recently that like blew up, and people were spending tons of money on Diablo, but everyone was really excited for this new one that came out. I personally have only played like a tiny bit of it. It does look pretty freaking awesome, but I just haven't got into it.
My brother Chris has PTSD over the original Legend of Zelda.
Oh yeah.
What happened? Do you know the story?
No, but I can imagine that game was hard.
So my brother Chris, he played it day and night, plays it forever. I played it a lot too. I liked it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I mean, when you go back and look at it, it's like such a crap game.
It is terrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. But anyway, he played it for months and months and months. Gets to the end character, And then my brother Mad Dog swipes in and ends up beating the main guy. And he's like, I finished it. My brother's like, what? He's like, yeah, I finished it. I beat Ganon or whatever the main guy was. And Chris Bell, yeah, he still has PTSD. You guys should ask him about it.
Dang.
That's
And he loves the new Zelda on Switch too.
Yeah, he's all fired up about it, yeah.
okay, this is actually pretty interesting. We're on topic, but how do you guys feel about like? You don't play video games at all, do you?
Not anymore, no.
Right? No. And you?
But I'm probably going to take a Switch with me when I travel to Iceland this weekend.
Good.
Why not? Right?
What games?
Mario
are you gonna take with
Kart
you?
for sure. We played that in the airport before. Mario Kart. I don't know what else you could. There's tons.
Legend of Zelda. Huh?
There you go.
Fuck with some Zelda. Yeah.
I'm
happy to hear this. I'm happy to hear
I like video games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm currently not playing anything, and I haven't for the longest time since before getting an Xbox.
My
You're
favorite
playing
game.
your personal Street Fighter right now. You got a tournament coming up.
Yeah, that's probably part of it, but yeah.
I always loved Worms. That was my favorite.
Oh, dude, Worms is so
This
good.
again.
You had it coming.
This is a deep cut.
I know.
I remember y'all talked about this years ago.
I think I might have the cartridge. I can just let you hang on to it forever, right? Because I'll let you borrow a game and I'll never see it again.
Never see it again.
But I have that. Yeah. Worms is so good.
You throw a sheep at the other guy.
All right, can you pull up some Worms real quick?
It's not very exciting to look at.
Yeah, it is good. To understand that you could play video games and still perform at a high level at other things. Because people, I think they put video games and other things as video games. You're a loser. No, you just got to balance things out, man.
Yeah, balance it out. I think it's a form of entertainment, right? Mm-hmm. My son ruined all my games. So
what do you mean?
He took them out of this cupboard that we had him in, and he would just throw them all over the place when he was a little kid.
Oh, dude, so many.
So they all got
memories of
scratched.
this game.
And the water level is rising the entire time. So
much fun.
so time is of the essence.
Oh, you're gonna get some of that residual.
Yep. And you get to blow the guy up with a
See, now
bazooka.
you just killed yourself.
Oh,
There's
dynamite.
See, yep, I knew it.
The other guy blows up.
Those banana grenades are ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
They're so powerful.
The banana goes all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So how did we get here?
I don't know, I'm excited.
Andrew, let me ask you this, because obviously you're getting ready for a tournament right now, and I think you got something that kind of falls in line pretty well with this. So what's been going on with you?
Well, so I can just fast forward to our conversation that we had on the phone, which I'm very grateful for. So thank you. Yesterday, physically I was good. I didn't gas out. I had energy throughout the open mat and throughout class. Everything was physically feeling really good. But midway through class, I was just doing a lot of dumb stuff. I was grabbing the left sleeve with my left hand and then grabbing the right collar with my right hand. So I'm doing this.
Yeah, you're just doing shit that you shouldn't be doing.
And that I've never done before. I'm like, what? I don't even know what's going on. A couple of oh, he's coming this way and he's going to pass my guard. What do I do? Oh, way too late. Dude, I don't know what's going on here. I was getting frustrated. So mentally I was gassed. Physically I was good. Mentally, not so much. So, with my tournament coming up a week from this Saturday, so a week and a couple of days, I'm thinking in my head, okay, what do I do? Do I keep banging my head on this wall and work really hard this week, and then next week taper off and kind of regain some of this mental capacity? Or do I take a break tomorrow, which is today, and then get back after it Friday and maybe a little bit more Saturday, and then continue on next week as planned? So when I was talking to Nsima, I think you'll say it better than me, but basically I was asking him for help. Dude, what route should I take? And then you had a really good answer, which you can go ahead and just share.
Oh, well, I pretty much just wanted to know how you felt about training the next day. If you were looking forward to it, or if it felt kind of stressful.
Yeah. And so my answer to that was, no, I am looking forward to training. However, in my head, the way I feel right now, I think taking a break might serve me better than going in and training and trying to pick up what little pieces off of the ground that I might be able to. And then that's when you're then that's enough to be able to just say, hey, I'm going to chill out, rest, maybe lift, do something light, and then Friday go back and get after it.
This reminds me a little bit of diet sometimes. Sometimes you're dieting pretty hard. Maybe you're fasting and then you overdo a fast and you're oh man, I don't have, because you can't make something out of nothing, right? So sometimes your body literally needs more nutrients. Sometimes your body needs more rest. And part of being a champion, and part of trying to get better at something is the ability to shut things down, is the ability to turn things off, the ability to just say no to stuff and to recover and to get away from your phone and to get away from other people and to you got to kind of isolate yourself. Like when you go out on those mats, you're going to have friends there, you'll have family there, but you're going to be out. It's going to be you. Mm-hmm. You'll be by yourself basically. And you have to be the one that takes control of your own life, and you have to be the one that dictates when you take a nap, when you go to bed, when you do shut things down. Because if you can't recover from stuff, it's going to be, people can get through a lot and they can overtrain and you can kind of adapt to some of that, but it's not a great way to really truly make progress. And also, I think the three of us, we love what we do. We love these other things that we do, but they're all as much of part of a life. They as much as they are a huge part of our life, they're simply a part of our life. We all have significant others. We all have other things. We all have other responsibilities that we would like to do just as well in. And so because of that, we're not sinking just everything, all resources into one thing. It's a little different. There might be some guys that can kind of live on the mat and they could just be there all day and get staph infection and everything else and just kind of hang out and become part of the mats. But, not everybody wants that. Some people want to try to have a little bit more balance and some equanimity in their life and in their day-to-day.
And, one thing that is, I think, really cool to think about is, Andrew, you started Jiu-Jitsu 7 months ago. Mm-hmm. 8 months ago, maybe, I'm not sure.
November.
Yeah. Mark, you've been running for a while now, multiple years, but I think you got serious with it maybe about a year ago?
That's about right, yep.
Right? But you mentioned something when you were talking to Russ. He's like, you're running 5 miles a day. Like, when you think about that, like, is that a safe assumption? Like, usually like 5 miles on average?
Pretty normal, yeah.
Pretty normal and pretty chill for you, right? Mm-hmm. But the amount of time it took you to build up to that, you didn't just see someone running those types of miles and you're like, I'm going to start running 5 miles a day. I'm going to beat myself. Andrew, you didn't just start training jiu-jitsu 4 times a week when you first started because you would have fucked yourself up. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you're trying to progress at something, you can see the training splits of what a lot of higher level people are doing. And sometimes you want to make progress, so you feel that you need to do that, but you got to be smart enough to be consistent and start where you are. So if that's trying to do something, maybe a mile a day or like a mile one day or a mile 3 days a week for running, and that's where you are right now, that's what your body can handle, be smart enough to start there, recover, and see what you can do and see how you can progress. Because this quote again, don't get mad at the results don't get mad at the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. There's an amount of work you need to do to be able to run 5 miles a day. And if you're mad that you can't run 5 miles a day, well, why are you trying to start there?
Right.
You know what I mean? You need to slowly inch yourself up towards that. And it took you like a year and a half.
It takes a lot of time. I'm helping Nadav, who helps produce Tom Segura's podcast. He's going to be running the New York City Marathon.
Oh, he's really doing it.
I believe so.
Okay.
I told him, I'll run right with you. But what I told him was, and this was like 2 days ago, I just said, from now until Sunday, I want you to go on a 20-minute walk, and 5 times during the 20-minute walk, I want you to jog, not run, just jog for 30 seconds. And then we'll reassess from there. But like, how small amount of work is that in comparison to running a marathon? The marathon's not till November. So he would still have a tremendous amount of work to do. It's still a huge hill to climb because that's not that many months away really, right? To get there, but he still can't start at a place that he has to start in a spot that's going to allow his body to recover.
Yes.
Because if I was like, hey man, go see how it feels to run 2 miles, he'd be like, hey man, I think I sprained my ankle. He'd probably report back and be like, man, I threw something out in my back, or my leg is weird, and now he can't run again. So the main thing that's going to be helpful in that situation is for him to be able to build consistency. And how can he get consistency? Well, the intensity needs to be reduced. And this could go with anything that you're trying to do in your life, whether you're trying to be an entrepreneur or you're trying to get better at running or jiu-jitsu or anything. If you would like to go to jiu-jitsu every day, then the duration needs to be pulled down, the amount of time you spend there, or the intensity needs to be altered a bunch.
Yeah.
And you have to be honest with yourself about that. And this is where things get to be really difficult. If you take your diet per se, and I think that this is probably the ultimate spot for this quote to land is in people's diets. Mm-hmm. And if you were to say, you know what, I'm allowing myself 250 calories to 300 calories a day to kind of eat a little bit of whatever I want. Like, sounds reasonable, right?
Yeah.
Even for someone trying to lose weight, sounds reasonable. Like, you ate really good the whole day. You're still in what we can agree upon as like a caloric deficit, or sometimes maybe maintenance calories. You're exercising a lot. You made a lot of other great changes. And at the end of the night, you want to, you want to eat something that's slightly off plan. Sounds reasonable. Like, that's worked for other people. But are you going to actually be able to stick to that? Or are you going to eat 500 calories or 750 calories, not really pay attention to the rest of it, not really count it, not really track it? It's the thing that you don't track.
Yeah.
I always found that interesting, and that's what I always hated about when people tracked. I'm like, whenever they go off their diet, they don't track a lot of that stuff. When somebody would like binge, it's like, that's the shit that you should be tracking. Track all this. Don't bother tracking your chicken breast and your broccoli. I don't think that's necessary. But track when you eat a peanut butter cup. That makes more sense.
Peanut butter cup. Yo, don't lose your train of thought. Those Quest peanut butter cups.
Those are good.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fuck,
those are money.
Those are really good.
Those
Sorry.
are
Quest has taken over that whole section in Walmart. You guys notice that? You guys see that?
Yeah.
I'm the one who empties that section out.
Oh, that's you.
That's me.
Yeah. That and those Cheez-It cracker looking
Those
things.
are good.
I have
Those
some in
are
my car
so
if you
good.
guys want any snacks.
Those are money.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I did lose my train of thought.
Ah, fuck.
No, I'm kidding. When you get to the end of the day, you kind of halfway are oblivious to the amount of calories you ate. You recognize that you kind of overdid it. But you keep weighing yourself every day and you're like, I don't understand. I haven't really lost a pound. I am following I'm working so hard. And each day, maybe you are doing your cardio. Maybe you are lifting. Maybe you are following through on just about everything else. But there's some little form of self-sabotage that I don't know if those things creep in because your body or your mind or your spirit is not ready to become that new thing yet, that new person yet. And it's like you have to slay a dragon, kind of. You hear Jordan Peterson talking about it. And I think some people are like, what the fuck's he talking about? A dragon? I don't have a dragon inside my body. But maybe you do. Maybe you do have something that's like tough to defeat from your past. Maybe it's could sometimes be like stress or anxiety. Like, we all deal with those things differently. Maybe when you're in a stressful situation, or if you had what you would consider to be a negative day or a long day that was stressful, maybe you're more in tune with like being like, I'm going to do what I want to do tonight rather than what I'm supposed to do. And I'm going to eat some pizza because that's going to make me feel good. But again, you can't get upset with you're trying to get these particular results. You're trying to lock these things down, but you're not actually doing the correct work and the precise work. And it also takes time. Your diet being intact for a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 7 days, it's not enough. And that's what sucks about it. But it has to be, I would say, out of like a month, we need 27, 28 good days for you to start to really notice some profound changes. That's a lot of work.
Yes, it is.
That's a lot of work. Now, if those 3 or 4 days are off so much that you binged, you still might not make any progress. And that's what really sucks about it.
Power Project Family, we talk about beef and meat all the time on the podcast. That's why we've partnered with Certified Piedmontese Beef. But did you know this? That 85% of all grass-fed, grass-finished beef in the United States is imported from other countries? 85%.
Damn.
But Certified Piedmontese is made in the U.S. of A.
America.
Fuck yeah. So go out and get some of the best tasting, some of the leanest, some of the best beef from Piedmontese. Andrew, how can they get it?
Absolutely. So you guys can head over to cpbeef.com and at checkout enter promo code POWER to save 25% off your entire order. And if your order is $150 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Again, cpbeef.com. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Fuck yeah. There's another video, Mark, that you talked about. I think it's actually perfect to pull up real quick because it kind of falls a bit in line with this.
Make sure we're not muted. I do that shit all the time.
Audio.
You can't think your way into the mood that you seek or the state of mind that you aspire to inhabit. Action is the only thing that can trigger that change state. When you think about that in the context of our daily lives, like let's just use running, for example. Like if you wake up in the morning and you're supposed to do a run because you're training for some race and you don't feel like doing it, we all resort to that state where we think, well, I don't want to do it right now. I'll just wait until I feel like doing it and then I'll do it then. And when we engage that way, we end up never doing it, right? Like if you're waiting until you feel like doing something, chances are you're probably never going to get to it. But to take the action despite how you feel about it is the thing that catalyzes the state change. And in my case, or anybody who's a runner, they'll tell you when they finish the run, they're always glad that they did it. They don't generally regret it. And then they feel better. And I think that example is applicable to, all areas of life.
By the way, you guys know this is the contradictory fuckery between these two different quotes is so funny because it's like we're just talking about listening to yourself and pulling back when you need to. And then now we're talking about, well, sometimes you just need to take the action that you should be taking to move yourself forward. It's a weird juggling act to figure out when you need to pull back and when you need to just grind through with the shit that you got to do.
I love what he said right there about almost like you can't like outwit yourself. There's a quote from Alan Watts, and he says, if you owe people money and you're going to skip town, you can't go and tell them. You can't go and say, hey man, I'm going to skip town and be like, hey, where's my $50? But with yourself, you can't just skip town on yourself. Like you're going to know when you owe yourself something or when you're supposed to do something at certain times. And you can't necessarily, maybe you can a little bit, but you can't completely outthink your mood. And that's what he started out by saying in the beginning, is he was kind of saying like, I can't just think myself into a better mood. Now, I think that you can a little bit. I think that smiling and being nice to people and having a positive attitude and having your thoughts directed in those areas can assist. But you'll notice on some days when you do that, there's still not much there. And you're like, it's not really working today. I'm trying to fake it, but I still haven't hit my own happy spot yet. And what he refers to later is to, hey now, what he refers to later is just get yourself moving. So we talk about it all the time, going on a walk. It's probably what we'll do after this podcast because we're going to do a couple other podcasts. Getting your body in motion is going to be the thing that will most likely set you off into a better mood. Once you get yourself in motion, and I want to suggest this to everybody because I really pulled way back. I don't mess around with at the moment. I don't mess around with energy drinks. I cut way back on kratom and a bunch of other stuff. And what I found was that if I just start exercising, that I don't need anything. If I just start something, then I'm usually good. Even sometimes with this podcast, if I just start the podcast and I start getting into talking with you guys, I don't necessarily need to sip on anything. So it's just been something I've been thinking about a little bit more. And I'm like, now there are times when I go and run, and I'm like, man, it's kind of hot out. And I get that voice that Mark Allen was talking about. Yeah. I start whining and bitching. Why are you such a bitch? Man, my left calf is kind of hurting today.
If you guys don't know, just check out the podcast with Mark Allen.
My whiny voice is a little higher pitch.
Yeah.
But so I will get into those situations, and then I'm like, oh, let me hit up a little kratom. That's going to make it a little easier. I don't have to sludge through this run and deal with this many negative thoughts, or that's where I might rely on music or switching from a podcast to music or something like that.
I'm sorry. I'm just remembering Mark Allen. Guys, I don't know if we could even put in a snippet. Let's just edit a snippet right here.
I've done this before.
Yeah.
This ain't no big thing. You know what I mean?
I like how you have this like altered ego, other voice. I wonder if this was going on when you were doing these triathlons.
It's just too perfect.
Yeah.
Most of the times he's like, yeah, I just felt like it. And he changed his face and it's like, man, Mark is...
He kind of crouched down.
He crouched down a little bit. But, what we were just talking about, all the time as we're implementing different things from different guests that come on, there's I'm able to feel a little bit better and a little bit better. They're just things that become easier. But certain days, sometimes maybe I'm feeling a little bit tired. So I'm like, okay, maybe I won't roll my back on those balls right now. Maybe I can just skip that. And then I end up regretting it later. There's just certain things that you should be doing on a daily basis to keep feeling continuously good. But for some reason, sometimes you stop those habits, or you're just like, I don't need to do this anymore. And then it creeps back up on you like, fuck, maybe I should have been doing this. So remember, like, even though you need to be paying attention to your nutrition, you need to be paying attention to your exercise, there are all these things, your sleep, don't neglect the little things that helped you feel better. There's a Slack block for balance that I use every single day because I noticed, oh, wow, I get off of this, my back feels like a little bit springier. I get on those tune-up balls that we talked about with Jill Miller. I do those every single morning. Oh, wow, I feel so much looser. There's a cocktail of things that just have me feeling almost perfect. And there's sometimes when I don't want to do those things where I just need to remind myself, if you want to keep moving forward smoothly, do the shit you know you need to do so you can keep the momentum going. Don't neglect something because you think you're okay.
You'll be in a better mood that way too.
You will.
Because you know that you got yourself ahead. You did the things that you wanted to do. Sometimes it could be something as simple as, tomorrow you want to wake up and run, and you want to lift, and you want to get that done first thing in the morning. Mm-hmm. When you finish that, you feel amazing. Like you feel like you're ahead of everybody. You're not actually ahead of anybody necessarily, but you feel like you got an extra notch on everybody. And it just makes you feel incredible, makes you feel really good. That can set you into a good mood. So I think examining mood is a really interesting thing to do. And I think people should think about, what are things that can help set me off into a good mood? What are things that are like sticky, that frustrate me, that slow me down, that weigh me down? If I know for myself, like a shower always feels so good. Sometimes I'll take a shower like midday and it's like I have a whole new start to the rest of the day again once I did that. Because usually I'm like running or lifting in the morning and getting that stuff done a little earlier. And when I do that, it really helps me to feel a lot better. But like, what are the things that you guys maybe feel that are some things that kind of leave you kind of grumpy, frustrated?
Oh, dude, the morning, the phone. I really do my best just to I still make the mistake every now and then, just not to hop on YouTube or hop on social and put something on while I'm doing other stuff in the morning.
That's too many other influences of what other people's thoughts are, kind of, right?
Absolutely. And I always catch myself like, why am I letting this play right now? Just like focus on the things that you need to be focusing on right now. Like, let your mind do what it needs to do rather than letting your mind, because there is an innate comfort in distraction. Right. Mm-hmm. So, and I never feel good afterwards. Mm-hmm. So there's just this constant thing of like, okay, no, just put that shit away. Do the shit that you got to do. Right. I think that would be the first thing that comes to mind for me.
Yeah. Maybe it's not the right answer you're looking for, but like if I say I'm going to go do something and something happens and I don't do it, I'm super upset with myself. The easiest example is, all right, I'm going to hit open mat at 5:30 tomorrow. And then like I wake up and then I blink and it's like, oh dude, it's already 6. I missed it. Like something like that where it's like super frustrating, where ultimately it was up to me to just get up and I didn't do it. So like I kind of lied to myself. That's really frustrating. But then on the other hand, I have to think, okay, why is it that like I could not get up? Like, was I pushing way too hard? So sometimes I'll maybe try to justify it that way. But no matter how hard I try, I'm always just like, damn it, like I messed up today, So then I get grumpy throughout the rest of the day.
Things like that are great, though, to know, like, if I just follow through on this, it's going to help me feel better. Mm-hmm. And then you can also, you could look at the clock at night and be like, oh, it's 9:30 already, or it's 10. I'm probably not going to make it. I'm just going to text the guys. I know that some of those guys are probably in bed already, but I'm just going to tell them I'm probably not going to come in, or I'm not going to, rather than the probably thing, I think is a rough one sometimes. Mm-hmm. If you say, oh yeah, I might be there, or probably, it means you're not probably going. It means you're not going.
It's most likely not.
Yeah, you should just, but it's a way. And then if you show up, then it's kind of a surprise that you made it. But I think, we have to learn what it is that we like, and we have to learn what are the things that frustrate us, because I don't think you have to be in a bad mood. You're going to have some days that are better than others. I don't think that we're meant to like be super happy all the time. You're going to have some days that for whatever reason, you just are happier. But there are small things that you can do. Staying away from your phone's a good one. Something like playing some music. Like just sometimes when I take a shower in the morning, I'll just play some music, or sometimes later in the evening, whenever I pop in the shower, I'll play music or listen to a podcast. I don't know, it's just the rhythm of the music. The music just, can help soothe you, calm you down, transfer you into a good mood, rather than you being like, frustrated with all this shit that you think that you have to get to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Extra stressors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is funny. Maybe selfish isn't the right word, but we can be pretty selfish to chase like happiness. Just use an example of like that slice of pizza or whatever. Like that's going to make me happy. I can easily do that. But maybe avoiding it and going for a walk might serve us way better. But like that's when we decide to not be selfish and not like want to go and do the thing that's going to help us out. So it's just weird how that works. I don't even know where that would come from.
I think it's important that people try to figure out like what's their like life purpose, rather than just chasing happiness. Like what is their, you don't have to really know it, because I don't think no one knows even why we're here and the purpose of like humans or whatever. It's a really complicated topic, complicated subject, but I think if you can figure out some of your purpose, then you can kind of organize these things a little bit better, and you can make more sense of it. And again, you can just something so simple, you just zoom out. You start getting frustrated, or you're in a crappy mood and you're thinking about the things that you should be doing. If you can zoom out and say, well, I plan on doing this for like the next 10 or 20 years, then you taking a day or two off because your ankle hurts or your knee hurts or whatever it is, isn't really a huge deal. No one's gonna be like, remember he skipped class for he wasn't around for a couple of weeks. We heard the stories from Mark Allen about how he would distance himself from other people so he didn't get caught up in the rat race of him comparing himself. That's a really good idea in some cases. Sometimes it's not always, you don't always have the option to do that. But in his case, he knew himself well enough to where he knows that he's probably going to try to run with this other guy or try to compare himself. And that was the last thing he needed. He needed to go and run his own race and do his own thing his own way. So he's like, let me just go off into the woods and do my own training my own way for a little while.
I don't even want to put a wrinkle in this, but it is doing that, like, because there's so many people that are going to have input on what you should be doing. If you're like, again, Andrew, you're getting ready for a competition, there's probably a bunch of people like, oh, this is what you should try to do. This is what you should try to do. Or you're starting to work out in the gym, and maybe you're starting a powerlifting program, and you got some guys around you like, you should do this program instead of that. When you're newer, it's harder to hear advice, because you should be trying to listen to what other people have to say, and you should try to filter that. But it's harder to filter the good and the bad, like what's going to serve you and what's going to move you backwards, right? But I think that's why it is very important to, even when you're newer, to try to at least get a plan set that you can stick to, rather than just randomly going about it. You start jiu-jitsu or you start lifting and you just go to the gym random days each week. Then you don't even have anything that you can set yourself into. But if you can just create something, some type of consistent plan, and just try to stick to it and listen to what other people have to say, but still try to stick to your plan, adjust later and move forward. And then when you get very experienced, you can still listen to what other people have to say, but you know what you need to do to move yourself forward. It's a tough balancing act, that is.
Yeah, and I think you have to give yourself time to figure out, to even just understand. So the example I will give is when I first started jiu-jitsu, I was like, BJJ fanatics. I want to buy so many instructionals and I'm going to, study all the time, blah, blah, blah. And, as you know, Nsima, there's like 1 million instructionals. I'm like, dude, I don't even know where to start. So now that I'm actually starting to build a game, not that I'm like, it's not that it's solidified, but like I have like a course of action now. It's like, I think I want to go in this direction, so I'm going to start focusing more on these types of instructionals, or I'm going to ask these types of questions. But early on, I just wanted to dive in, but I had no idea what questions to even ask or what videos to pay attention to. And I got really frustrated because I'm like, well, what the heck? I'm supposed to be getting better and, this and that. And now it's like, okay, let some time pass, let some experience, come in. And now I kind of have an idea of which direction I want to be going in. But early on, I couldn't figure that out. And so I did have the inputs coming in from different people left and right. And I listened to everybody. But even back then, like it was just hard to understand like what's going to serve me, what's not. I needed to be patient enough to like allow myself to go and start to develop before I can actually start like imprinting some of this information into my head.
Power Project family, your normal shoes are making you weak. This is why I partner with Vivo Barefoot Shoes, because they have a wide toe box, they're flat, and they're flexible. So with every single step you're taking, if you're taking a 10-minute walk outside or when you're working out in the gym, your feet are able to do what they're supposed to do in this shoe. They have tons of options for hiking, running, training in the gym, chilling and relaxing, casual shoes for if you're out on a date. You need to check them out. And Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, that's over at vivobarefoot.com/powerproject, and you guys will receive 15% off your order automatically. Again, vivobarefoot.com/powerproject. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
I think where these two things intersect, what Eric Thomas said and the other guy's Rich Roll, right?
Yeah, that's Rich Roll.
Yeah, and I think where there's some intersection between the two things is, you're thinking about the first quote from Eric Thomas where he's talking about how you're not going to get the results from, don't complain about the results you're not getting from the shit you're actually not doing. That's like somebody just kind of like lying to themselves, right? But where the intersection would come from, I think, is from Rich Roll talking about you just need to put yourself into action. If you put yourself into action and you just get yourself going, you're more than likely probably going to do a little bit more than you thought, than you intended, because you're already in motion. So as an example, if you're going into the gym and you're like, I don't really want to train today, you're got the negative voices in your head. Like, all right, I'm just going to do shoulders. I'm going to do a 10-15 minute workout. Let me just first warm up and see how that feels. Let me reassess how I feel. Let me block how I feel for a moment. Let me just put it off to the side for a moment. Can I do that for a moment? Okay, I'm in a crappy mood. Can I do that for just a minute? Okay, I'm going to warm up. Oh, actually, you know what? I feel pretty good. My shoulders feel pretty good. I feel more recovered than I thought. You start doing some shoulder presses and stuff, and you start handling some decent weight, and you're like, oh, shit, okay. This is a pretty good workout. You start doing your lateral raises, and next thing you know, 15 minutes went by. You're like, I'm going to do some triceps, and you hit another body part, and you get a workout in that you didn't think you otherwise would just because you simply had the guts to give it a chance, give it a moment. Like, don't always overreact to how you feel right away, because you only feel a particular way because you're not doing anything. So of course you don't feel like doing anything when you have a bunch of other options and you're sitting inside of air-conditioned house and you got your video games out and you got access to the internet, and like you just it's the same thing we deal with kids. Like, they have access to a lot of other things. So of course when you go into your child's room and say, hey, let's go to the park, they're like, nah. You're like, huh? I thought kids love going to the park. You have to say, put your tablet away, turn your TV off, put your phone away, let's go to the park. And they're like, okay, because now they don't have any other options anymore. So I think sometimes we got to do that to ourselves. Like, don't give yourself other options. I've heard of Jocko Willing talking about just doing the thing without like flinching, like unflinching discipline. Like, if you do it before you start to really think about it, that's a really good spot to be. Or the moment that you think about it, as soon as some sort of negative comes in, you block it right away. You can also sometimes, like if that voice pops in on a Wednesday and you're thinking about Thursday practice, that's when you can have a moment and think about it. And you could do again what Mark Allen did, where he went, just take a breath, take a moment and say, I feel really tired. It probably doesn't make any sense. As tough as I want to be and as strong as I want to be and as good as I want to be for this jiu-jitsu tournament, I have been training really hard. And the input I'm going to get tomorrow is probably not going to be great if I can't really show up the way I want to. I know Friday is when we have a really good class. There's really good energy in there. Let me call someone that knows something about jiu-jitsu. Call Nsima, get some information. And now, tomorrow, tomorrow's Friday, right? Now tomorrow, you're going to be all fired up. Like, you're going to be fired up tonight.
I'm fired up right now.
Yeah, you might not be able to go to bed because of the, because you're going to be, because you'll be charged up because you reserved your energy for another day. But give yourself a moment. Don't always be so bummed out by the current thoughts that you have and the way that you're thinking about something right now. Every person, everyone's been through some sort of breakup at some point, and the way that you feel about someone immediately after the breakup, like, it's pretty damaging.
Fucking whore.
Whore bag. But you give it a couple months, or give it 2 years, or give it 10 years when you're with somebody else, like, you barely remember that person. You're like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're worthless.
Yeah. Where's the camera?
Right there.
Yeah.
Right into her soul.
Making it weird.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I already had talked to a buddy of mine about like doing some drills later. And he was like, no, let's just work on it tomorrow. I was like, okay, cool. That's a smart move. Because yeah, I am fired up, and I'm obviously nervous for everything, but I'm fired up, man. I'm excited. Like I got a screenshot of my division, which before was only like 2 guys, and then now I think it's I forgot how many people, but it's gonna take at least, I think, 3 matches if I'm gonna get gold, and then which means I got to win a couple times to even podium. So like it's enough people to where like I can't just walk in and get a medal. So I'm gonna have to put in some work.
This is it's like the Royal Rumble, right? Like a new person comes in every minute, and you got to throw them over the top rope, right?
And then if you can't get them off, dude, there's gonna be like 6 dudes on the mat with one ref trying to just keep us all in line.
That's gonna be tough.
It's gonna be sick.
How often do you think you might want to compete?
Dude, I do not know. I would like to see and answer that question after this competition.
So this is the reason why I asked you that question. I think because no matter what happens in the competition, it's probably not going to be your only one. So I would say maybe afterwards you sign up for another one, or even before it starts, just look for when another one in this organization is that might be close, and just sign up for it.
Yeah, I do like
giving yourself a choice.
I like the motivation to train, and then something else too. I was talking to my buddy Chris about. I was like, I had this weird thought in my head that by this date I had to have a perfectly well-rounded game, and I was gonna go in there, and then hit me not too long ago where I'm like, you're just progressing. It doesn't freaking matter that you don't have the perfect guard game with the perfect offensive game. And Nsima's just cracking up like crazy right now.
I'm sorry. It's just,
but that's the thing though, dude.
Saying.
When it comes to putting so much pressure on myself, I was just like, no, dude, you're just gonna get better. It doesn't matter, right? So with that thought, that's where I was like, I like this. I like that I am trying to get better for this event, but I understand that it's not the finish line. And then when I said that, I was like, oh, I think we're going to probably be doing this for a while, competing. We'll probably do this again.
Oh, you will.
And then we'll keep going from there, because it's just cool, man. It's it's almost like all the training days are to get better. And then this is the test. And then we just kind of go back to the drawing board and we just keep going that way. Whereas before it was training was the test. And then now it's okay, after this, everybody listening that's competed is just going to laugh, because it all hit me kind of all at once. I'm like, oh, after this, I'll be able to figure out what holes I have in my game. And then it's I'll be able to see what I'm pretty good at. And then we'll just keep adding and stacking and going from there. So yeah, I would imagine I would compete after this, but like I said, I will see if I just absolutely hate it for some weird reason, and then we'll go from there.
Don't even put that thought in your mind.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, because I get
what you're saying.
When I first started, I was asked oh, do you plan on competing? And I'm like, I don't know. I got to see if I even like jiu-jitsu. And instantly fell in love with it, and here we are.
Right before your first match, you're going to say to yourself, I'm never going to put myself through this shit again. But then as soon as that match gets going, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
I never did that, but I've done stuff that's new, that's scary, where right beforehand, you're like, okay,
this is done.
I am definitely never going to do this again. What about public speaking? You guys ever, I don't know if you guys have ever gotten nervous for that, but I never liked that when I was a kid.
Fucking hated it.
And I was like, okay, hopefully don't ever ask me to do that again. If that never happens again, I'll be excited.
Be good.
And you're a great public speaker now.
Yeah, you get used to it. You gotta pop that cherry.
Oh yeah, speaking of, do you guys like those cherries?
Yeah, my stomach's finally chill again.
Nsima ate like 2 pounds of cherries.
Yeah, I kind of downed it kind of fast.
In like 3 minutes.
Homegrown.
You know what's so stupid, man? For some reason, I have a tendency of like, if there's a bottle of water, my thing is just like, I didn't get enough, and I'll just finish it. I can't just have a can of something or a bottle of something and let myself enjoy it. My tendency is just take it down as fast as you can.
How frustrating is it when you have a protein shake and you think you have enough for like a big solid gulp, and then you go for a drink and it was just like a sip?
It's already gone. Pretty
You're
much.
just like, "Fuck." It's so frustrating. I'll make another one.
It is what it is, yo.
It's tough to enjoy stuff that way when you just inhale it, you know. But
Yeah.
it's hard to slow down when something's really good.
Especially if it's that steak shake. I made the cinnamon roll steak shake for my family. So I just blended it with ice.
Did it pass the test?
Dude, they all said it tastes like horchata. Have you ever had that?
I think so.
It's like cinnamon Mexican rice water or some shit like that, rice milk. It was really good.
It's the thing that's splashing around next to the cash register, right?
Yep. When you go to order the food.
Next to the chips and salsa.
Yeah. That shit's
I
so
know what
good.
you're talking about. And then there's like orange stuff too. What's that?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
Honestly, I don't know.
Maybe that's just the place I go to.
Yeah, no. I know what you mean. I just
Oh,
I just
That's a
don't know.
common
Yeah.
theme. That's a common theme.
I know they have like tamarindo and a couple other things, but for the most part, I have no clue. I just know.
It's so hot when you pull out your Spanish accent. Tamarindo.
That's what my wife says.
Like, ay, papi, keep it going.
Just whips it out.
Your wife, Stephanie likes it.
Yeah.
Hey now.
It always comes out when I'm ordering food, so that's
Yeah,
when she
yeah.
gets fired up too.
Hey.
She's like, order more food.
What is it? Chupanifan.
No, don't do that.
I remember in elementary school.
Oh, yeah,
Once I
everybody
learned that
knew
from
all
like
that.
my Mexican friends would be like, ooh.
What is it down the
He's saying
street from
that's
my
weird.
house is Guadalajara, right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That place is really good. The one in Woodland is better.
Do you want to
Way
get burritos
better.
after
Yeah.
this?
Maybe after the
Oh my
comp.
god.
I think I still got to drop like a pound. I don't know exactly. I know Jiu-Jitsu World League, their scales are pretty soft, but I just don't want to have to worry about it.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Does El Patio pass the test, or is that not
Yeah,
Mexican
it does.
enough?
No,
Okay.
it does. Their flautas are really good because they have like just a pile of just all this like guac, sour cream, lettuce, all that good stuff.
They have some sort of weird green salsa avocado sauce that's
Yeah,
ridiculous
that's
too.
a little bit Americanized,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
worth it. That shit's really
They
good.
like throw it on like their French fries. They have like
Yeah.
meat and cheese on them.
Yeah, I saw the fries is meh.
How about
you know.
Chipotle?
Chipotle?
Chipotle, does that pass the Mexican test?
No, but it's
Of
good.
course not. It's
Yeah, but it's
Bonnie
good though.
McDonald's. Yeah, it's
no,
good.
no hating on that.
Can't hand Chipotle, yeah.
I like the chips
The chips are
really
fucking good at
with the
Chipotle.
lime salt. I
Yeah.
think.
They do a great job with their chips.
And it's
Guys, you
awesome-
shouldn't be eating chips. Stop.
But it's
Oh,
awesome when
I'm
you get
sorry.
like a big old like chunk of salt on it too. Oh, dude, it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently they're making I don't know if they have it on the menu now. I have to go check, but they have like meat and cheese quesadillas. So like that's on the menu. Like
They're
they'll
like keto tacos or something, right?
no.
Where did I
like
see that?
straight up quesadillas, except now they'll put like their meat in it, and it.
Dang.
I think they're coming out with that on the menu. But
Oh, man.
Chipotle has some good quesadillas already, but now they add meat to that bitch.
Quesadillas got to be like one of the simplest, tastiest things ever.
I was a
incredible.
quesadilla king as a kid, bro. Like, I just want, Mom, can you get cheese and tortillas, please?
Yeah.
I'll be eating so many quesadillas, man.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I learned how to use the stove and I just started making quesadillas and all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah.
You're gonna have to teach us.
All right.
Take us on out of here, Andrew.
All righty. Thank you, everybody, for checking out today's episode. Please let us know what you guys dug about today's conversation. Maybe your favorite Mexican dish. How about that? Drop those comments down below. And please make sure you guys are following the podcast at MB Power Project all over the place. My Instagram is at I am Andrew Z. And Nsima.
Clear that dick from your throat, dog.
Sorry. I was outside all day yesterday and my like allergies. I'm just not having it.
I'm joking, dog. At Discord. Check it out down below. You'll be able to win some cool shit. We're gonna give away some stuff in the next episode. At Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube. At Nsima Inyang on TikTok and Twitter, Mark.
Hit up Big Strong Fast on Instagram. Give him some support for my oldest brother beating Gannon when my brother rightfully earned his spot there. I think he got sucker punched on that one. I'm out. Mark Smelly Bell. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later.
All right, you guys should really check out this episode with the beloved Bill Maeda. That's somebody who has been putting in work for a long time. It's a 3-hour, 30-minute episode. He is jacked. He is tan. He is still killing it at 50 plus years old. He's leaner than all of us and extremely strong. So check out this episode and learn how he does it.